Alright guys, welcome to another video with Psoto Desperado playing on Supreme Gaming Island map. And we already got everything situated. The bird's on a lower weight now. Yeah. So got rid of a lot of the crap I don't need. Level 16. Useless. A lot of the levels are low, but every once in a while you'll get something decent, you know. Okay, so let's start another video. I have Joey the Gypsy. He's one of my favorites. Worst kind of homeless people. Oh shit. Okay, here we go.
Alright, I'm going to do a video about the worst kind of homeless people. Which really, they're just the worst kind of people, period. But a lot of them end up out on the street. And here's the thing. You got to realize that not all homeless people are like this, and in fact, most aren't. Believe it or not, a lot of homeless people are actually. I'm not saying they're all saints, but we live in an insane situation here where, you know, the jobs don't even cover basic expenses. So there's a lot of homeless people that are actually a lot more normal than you would think. Well, there's plenty that are nowhere near normal too. But here's the thing: a lot of homeless people they're out there because they can't adjust to this. This society we live in is not normal, and a lot of people really cannot adjust to it. Now, some of them get on medication. Some of them just live with their parents. I'll give you an example. Just sitting in my trailer last night, some girl comes into my trailer. It's about 7 o'clock. This girl comes into my trailer. She's got a blanket in her hand. And she's like, hello? I'm like, yeah, what's up? I'm figuring it's someone for the mechanic. She comes in. She's like, hey, you mind if I chill here tonight? I'm like, what are you talking about? And you know, if she was my type, I would have been more open to it, but she was not my type. She's like, you know, she didn't look bad or anything, but she didn't look homeless or anything, but she ain't my type. I know myself well enough to, I know within 30 seconds with a girl, if you know, if I want to deal with her. Anyways. She's like, do you mind if I chill in here tonight? I'm like, you can't chill in here. I'm like, what the fuck are you, what do you even, it's raining out, it's cold, you know. As far as Florida goes, it was cold and rainy. You know, it was 50, lower 50s and raining. Pretty miserable weather to be outside in. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I was just going to sleep behind the cars out there. And then I seen a light on in here. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, what do you sleep behind a car for what? She's like, well, I just had to leave my room, you know, my roommates. I got in a fight with my roommates, and I'm like, you're not staying here. I'm like, you know, I said, there's another trailer over there if you want to go sneak in there and sleep in there. But if the mechanic catches you, he's going to go fucking nuts because I know this guy and he ain't a friendly guy. If that's what you want to do, you can risk it, but you ain't fucking staying in here. And if he catches you, you better not tell him I told you you could stay in there anyways. Basically, I was like, I'm like, well, why are you staying with roommates? It's in my nature to try to figure out how to help someone. I don't want to see some girl out on the street. You know what I mean? the street's hard enough for a dude. I'm like, what are you doing in a fucking room where you're gonna leave at and sleep out on the street in the rain? I'm like, you're obviously your situation is not right. She's like, well, I was staying with my mom, but my mom started smoking crack again. I'm like, oh god. I think she was she's like, but I smoke weed. Like, I was like, I don't. This ain't none of my business. I was like, sleep in the other trailer if you want, but if the mechanic catches you, he's gonna go nuts. He's not gonna like attack you, but he's probably gonna yell and scream. So it's what he does. She's like, oh, okay. I'm like, but don't come in here. I'm like, this is where I sleep in here. Don't be sneaking around in my place, you know. She's like, all right. Anyways, couple hours go by. I hear the mechanic screaming at the top of his lungs. So I'm assuming she got caught. I didn't even mention it to him this morning, but it's a perfect example of how people end up out on the street. It's like this whole society is so fucked. She can't live with her mom because her mom smokes fucking crack. She can't stay with her roommates because they're getting in some sort of altercation. She said they were telling her not to take more than one shower a day or something. I'm thinking to myself, this is why I was on the street. People are like, well, why didn't you go stay with a girl? I could have. There was a couple of girls I could have stayed with. Right before I was on the street, I was kind of dating this really hot Asian girl who's like, well, you can just stay with me. And I'm thinking, yeah, you think that. And then as soon as we get into it, which we're gonna eventually, you're gonna be like, oh, you gotta get out. And I'm like, I didn't say all this to her. But, you know, people think like, there's a lot of people out there who are this close to being kicked out of wherever they're at because they're dealing with some bullshit situation where, you know, I'm not giving nobody that kind of power over my life where they can be like, oh, well, you got to leave now because fuck all that. You know I can squat probably with squatters' rights and shit. I'm not dealing with all that. I'd rather just go out on the street and deal with myself. I don't like having anyone in my life who can tell me what to do. I don't like that. So, but hey, when I seen this chick last night, I'm thinking to myself, this, you know, it happens all the time. People just, we're in a fucking messed up society.
I forgot to repair my gun.
A lot of homeless people end up out there just due to, it's partially their fault, probably mostly their fault, but you gotta realize none of this shit going on in our society is normal. So, but there's a certain type of homeless people who they can't succeed because they're just a piece of shit. So what I mean by that is they're the type of people where you cannot give them an inch because they're going to take a mile. You can't trust them with anything. You can't do nothing for them because they don't appreciate it. They don't, you know, they think nothing of it. They're just like it has a lot to do with the fact that they're pretty stupid. They just don't realize, like, oh, someone just helped me out. Maybe I should do something in return. And I'm not saying that every time someone does something for you, you got to do something in return, but I've been told that that's the difference between a good person and a shit person, is when you do something for them, they remember it, and they try to return the favor. A shit person, just, it's nothing to them. They accept it, they think nothing of it, they'll turn around and steal your fucking stereo out of your car or something. That, you know, they don't care. But there's, you know, there's people on the street where they never do anything good for anyone. Nothing good ever comes from them. Only problems. They steal from people, and fortunately for me, I'm a pretty good judge of character. I can read people early. So these people, I don't let them get close to me. I don't let them think that I'm friends with them. I'm not like openly aggressive towards them. I never give them shit, but I make it pretty clear that I don't want them in my life, you know, because a lot of people make the mistake of falling for their, sometimes they're charismatic and they can act like a normal good person, but a lot of people make the mistake of not being able to read them, and they end up becoming like friends with them, and next thing they know, they've got a bad rep because this idiot is going around doing stupid things and making enemies, and these naive people out on the street who are like, they're just friends with whoever wants to be their friend. They don't realize that when people see them with them other type, they get grouped in with them. So, but yeah, the worst kind of homeless people, they're the type that they just take and take and take, and they give nothing in return. They'll turn around and steal. They don't appreciate anything. They're bitter, they're angry, they're nasty. They blame everyone else for everything, and they start fights over everything, even though they can't fight. 9 times out of 10, they're just loud. But I would never even let them get close enough to me to where they would get me upset to the point where I'd be wanting to fight them. I would just, they'd ask me for some. I'll give anyone a cigarette a couple of times, but I'd say after about 10, I'm done. And I would make that clear to them. And like, I don't want to be like a greedy little miser with me. I know I'm making money. I can afford to give out plenty of fucking cigarettes. But when someone comes up and it's the 10th time, I'm like, I've given you too many cigarettes. I've given you too much. You've given me nothing. I will give you nothing now. And I'm telling straight up, like, I will never give you another anything. So don't ask. It's that simple. I don't hate you. I don't have anything against you. Just don't ever ask me for anything again. There was this one homeless dude where he would always ask me for $1 or $2. And I did it for a while because I felt bad for him. Finally, one day, I'm in McDonald's drinking my coffee. I'm not in the fucking mood. I see him coming. He sits right next to me. I'm annoyed already. I know what he wants. He's like, Joe, you think I can borrow $2? I said, all right. I said, I'm going to give you $2 right now, but don't ever in your life ask me for anything ever again. And I'm telling you that right now. Do not ever ask me for anything ever again. I'm going to give you the $2. Get your coffee or your breakfast sandwich, whatever you want to. I don't care what you do with it. But it wasn't about the money. It was about this dude that just, he saw me as like a resource because, it's good to be friendly. It's good to be generous, but it's not good to let people take advantage of you. So, yeah. I told him, just don't ever in your life ask me for anything again, and I'll give you the $2. He agreed to it. I gave him the $2. I never saw him again, and I was glad. But yeah, and he's not the worst type because he's just the type where he's always asking for everything. He ain't gonna fucking steal it from you. The worst type is, they act like they're normal and friendly, but they're always looking for a way to fuck someone over. They make enemies all over the place.
Opportunists
where I stayed around New York, the Upper West Side,
especially cheap
there was people
opportunists.
Literally banned from the area. They couldn't come there because they just did too much wrong. And there was plenty of messed up people around there. It's not like, but there's a certain type where once you got a rep like that where you're not paying people back and you're even stealing from some people and doing this type of shit, even if you're stealing from someone who no one respects, people still, they look at the one stealing as a piece of shit too. So, that eventually they get banned. Like, there was people, if they came around that part of Manhattan, somebody was going to beat their ass. And there was multiple somebodies who had it out for them. And, they do the same thing in some other place, and the next thing they know, they got to leave New York pretty much, or suffer the consequences because they've just made enemies everywhere. And these are homeless people. But actually, no, you know what? Those people are terrible and nobody wants to deal with them. But the fucking worst people are the truly psychotic, violent ones who. You ever seen these videos of these homeless people attacking other homeless people while they're asleep? One time, I was sleeping in my spot, and I tell you what, I don't know what it was that woke me up, but something woke me up. And when I woke up, it's like 3, 4 in the morning. I woke up, and there was a homeless dude standing there just staring at me. And fortunately for me, when I get scared, I get angry. I don't get like frightened and timid. I want to kill. So it scared me, and I didn't say a word. But the look in my eyes told him, like, you got about 2 seconds to get the fuck out of here before I jump up out of this sleeping bag, bro. Because I'm upset right now. And so he left. But God knows what would have happened if I didn't wake up. You know what I mean? But here's what I was thinking: these terrible people who just go around burning every bridge and stealing and they push everyone right to their limit, and they're too stupid to realize where the limit is, so they keep pushing until everyone. Once one person like turns on them, in public, everyone does. You know what I mean? Because everyone's fed up with them. So I was thinking that our government is this type of people. We're being led. The leaders of modern Western societies, they're the worst type of homeless people. Except the difference is they have money and power. But it's the same type of people. They just keep taking. You give them an inch and they take a mile. And then 1 mile is not enough. They keep taking more and more and more. And they don't stop until you really turn on them. And they only understand violence. That's what it comes down to. They're just, and it's not that they're good at it or they want violence or that they can fight. They're just like, they're so sociopathic and so like socially inept and so fucking stupid that they don't realize where they're going. You know what I mean? So I've been thinking about all this shit the government pulls lately with all this. They're bringing in millions of people and just filling up our country with them. Meanwhile, 65% of the population does not have $1,000 in the bank for an emergency. But these people who can't even afford their own food and shelter are paying for these migrants to live for free. And the government is too stupid to realize how fed up everyone is. You know what I mean? They're dumb. They've had power for too long. They're not in touch with reality. And I have a feeling that sooner or later, reality is going to come crashing down on their heads because they don't get it. They're going to keep pushing until they get dealt with the way they leave you no choice. That you know what I'm saying? These people on the street who do these stupid things, it's like, for the most part, now I've never been to prison, I've been to jail, but I have a feeling it's the same in like prison. It's like, if you're not a complete fucking idiot, you're gonna be all right. These people on the street, it's like they're too dumb to realize that their actions and the way they live is eventually going to turn everyone against them. They're too stupid to realize it. And we're being led by the same thing. These politicians and these bureaucrats, they've never dealt with reality. You know what I mean? They've lived in these isolated cush existences where they don't realize that if you keep pushing people, sooner or later one of them's gonna grab you up and beat your ass, bro. You know what I mean? Or worse. There's other people who are gonna do a lot worse. And then there's people like me who, I see these people from a mile away. Another thing they'll do is they'll try to give you something because they want to get in on your good side, so they'll just offer you something out of nowhere. I would never accept it unless it was a friend of mine. You know what I mean? I'll accept something from them. But people I don't really know, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me like in debt, even if it's just a little piece of weed, or they'll offer me some of their liquor or whatever, which I barely drink. So, or they would offer me a cigarette out of nowhere, and I wouldn't take it, because I don't want them feeling like I owe them a thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't want them coming around. They're trying to like almost buy my acceptance, and they do this to a lot of people. A lot of people fall for it. Because a lot of people on the street are looking for anything they can get. So, if you're ever on the street and you're homeless or whatever, be real careful. The people who offer you things, you better think twice about taking it, because a lot of the times these people, they're slick innocent. They're not smart, but they are slick. They're slick by nature, but they're not smart. But they do a lot of things just kind of subconsciously. They don't do a whole lot of thinking, but they are very slick. And if you are not, if you can't see them for what they are, they can end up, in your life. I told the story in the Legend of Ilya videos about Casey, who I do respect him as far as like kind of shitty, terrible people go. I respected his balls, but I never let Casey get close to me, and he tried very hard. And he also tried to the point where he was, he was making it seem like, oh, well, if you're not going to be my friend, I'm going to be your enemy or whatever. Like subconsciously, never said it out loud, and subconsciously, I said to him, like, if that's how you want it, then that's how it's going to be. We can be enemies. I have no problem with that. What's not going to happen is you're not going to just attach yourself to me and be a fucking leech. If I have to fight you every time I see you, I prefer that. And so, Casey could pull that off on a lot of other people, but not me, because he didn't want to fight me every time he seen me. So he had to kind of play nice with me. And there was other people on the street who treated him the same way. Like, we can be civil, we can be cool, but you ain't getting shit out of me. You're not, if you want to be enemies, we can do that too, So that's kind of how you got to be if you're going to be like homeless. I'm guessing it's the same in prison. I don't know for sure, but be friendly, be generous, but don't be no pushover. And if people are going to threaten you with violence or whatever, you got to let them know that you're okay with that and you're willing to take it there. You don't want to, but if that's how it's got to be, what it's not going to be is just you ruling over me or taking anything from me. You know what I'm saying? So this is I realize that the government is the same way. They just keep pushing and they keep taking, and they're never going to stop until they end up out of power. And that's what's going to end up happening. I couldn't tell you if it's going to be within the next year or the next 100 years, but I have a feeling within the next 100 years, things are going to change in a major way. Go on my Patreon if you want details. But I do believe we kind of crossed a threshold. It may not seem like it. It may seem like things are going in the wrong direction or whatever, but from the information I have, we kind of passed a major test on a collective scale within the last decade or so, and things are in motion now to where we're winning, bro. It may not seem like it, but we're winning. And I can see it, but it doesn't, it's not obvious, but I'm not too concerned. I've said it before, I'm saying it again. They can run as wild as they want. Sooner or later, they're going to be the ones that pay for it. Just like out on the street, these goofballs that they just, they understand nothing but violence. And people by nature they don't want to be violent. Some of them like to fight, but they still don't like to, the people who like to fight on the street, they like to fight other people who like to fight. They're doing it as like a sport almost. They don't want to just go beat the shit out of some random moron who can't fight for shit, but eventually these people who they're just too dumb to live in peace, that's what happens. And they don't learn. They still don't learn. They just go to another part of the city. They start the whole cycle over again. And, eventually they get ran out of the city or worse. So, it's the same thing with these politicians and bureaucrats. They're just going to keep running wild until it backfires on them. And they're going to sit there in a state of shock. Like, they didn't see it coming, and they don't see it coming because they're stupid. Anyways, hopefully this video makes sense. You think everything in our modern society is so upside down. It's literally designed to keep intelligent, honest people down, and it really is. If you look closely enough, you'll see the people who succeed for the most part are the most dishonest, the most selfish, the least willing to compromise, and you know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna last. It's gonna get turned upside down, and what we do in life echoes in eternity. So you may think that maybe I should just start playing the way they play. Well, for a few temporary gains, that might work out, but in the long run, what we do in life echoes in eternity. What you do matters. And everything comes back. So don't let them corrupt you. I made a whole video about that, the last video. But that's the real key. Just don't let them corrupt you, because you're going to pay a price for it, whether in this life or the next. Go on my Patreon if you want details. But you could pay a big price for the things you do in this world. Anyways. So, and fear should not be your motivation. My motivation to not be corrupt is really just, I guess what it comes down to is, I don't want to have a negative impact on the world. I want to have a positive impact on the world. That's really all it comes down to. So, anyways, I appreciate every single one of you. It comes down to, I want inner peace. I want to be able to sleep at night. I want my conscience to be settled. I don't like having bullshit on my mind. I did this, I did that. I don't. It bothers me. So my inner peace is probably the most important thing to me. Anyways, appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the subs, the likes, the comments. I'm going to watch this video, see if it makes sense.
Ooh, a 208. Shit.
I put up a new video in the shorts of my stand-up. And yeah, you got to realize that was a stiff crowd. People are like, oh, that crowd didn't want to laugh. And it was just a stiff crowd. The dude who went before me kind of bombed. He's a good comedian, but the crowd just wasn't feeling him. And it was a stiff crowd. And so it's not that they didn't want to laugh. It's that they were still trying to figure me out at that point. Anyways, appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you on the next one. Everybody have a good one.
Nice. Yeah, he hit a lot of major points there just in this little video. When it comes to people on the street are basically like just regular people. It's just that they've gotten kind of, I wouldn't say corrupted, but I'd say kind of like degraded. Maybe degraded is a better term for it. And they pretty much don't care as much as they used to. When we start out in life, we're all innocent and we have morals and ethics. We don't need them to be programmed into us. Our morals and our ethics are just part of who we are. We don't need them written down. You know, that's just who we are. And essentially, people will take advantage. Like, I let a guy in here. I thought he was going to pay rent. It turns out he couldn't work and all this. He had nothing but problems. And frankly, I just had to. I told him, I said, I can't carry you. I can't be paying your rent. And I'm still in a detrimental state because after that experience, I honestly don't want to bring him in here. I want to bring anybody in here. I want to live by myself. You know, I'd rather live out of my vehicle than live with other people. My sister contacted me and she wanted to come back. And I said, okay, the room's available. You have a key? Because I sprayed it. It had fleas in the room, but I sprayed the room, so, you know, it's okay now. And that's all we're going to do. But the thing is, she never showed up. People will tell you something, then they'd go do something else, or they don't do what they say. And after a while, you're like, well, shit, what can I do about that? And the answer is nothing. People got to do what they're going to do, man. They're going to do whatever they got to do. And if they give you a promise, it's probably going to be bullshit. And if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's people. Make sure it's 208. Oh, that's a lot better than that 176 by about 2 grades. Gotcha. All right. All right. Let's start another video. Man, I love that Joey the Gypsy. Pretty cool. Let's see, do I have anything else? Last video never need. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep that in there. Let's see if I can find something else. Can you handle the truth? Oh, this is going to be live. 9:26 p.m. Oh. I don't know. Truth hurts, brother. Truth really fucking hurts. Political soup. Oh, here's Sage Wanderer.
Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Political Soup. Today's political soup is definitely
cat flavored.
Don't. So clearly, I'm talking about what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, or what is not going on in Springfield, Ohio. So I've been following this story about Haitian migrants kidnapping, killing, and eating cats, dogs, ducks, and geese. I've been following this story for about a month. And it was way at the bottom of my stack. You know, I'm kind of like Alex Jones, where he has these piles of papers, and they're all in these big stacks laid out on his desk on stories he's working on. And this story for me was at the bottom of my stack. I found it interesting, but not necessarily relevant. And then a strange thing happened. Donald Trump talked about it at the debate with Kamala Harris. And so it's a story now that's just tearing up the alternative media. It's all over my YouTube feed. I don't know about yours. When Donald Trump made this statement during the debate, Kamala Harris is suddenly overwhelmed with this look of absolute disbelief. She thinks this is proof that Donald Trump is crazy. Haitian immigrants aren't eating dogs and cats. It tells me that the AI algorithm of YouTube is doing its job, right? The reason why I was aware of this story and Donald Trump was aware of this story is because we share a common news feed, right? We have See, AI and the Google algorithm works to send you stuff that are related. So Kamala Harris's YouTube feed does not have any stories on Haitian immigrants because that's not what she's clicking on, right? And so that's so far away from her realm of knowledge that it seemed to her to be absolutely absurd. And a lot of people on the left who don't scour media like I do and like other people do and like Donald Trump does, they're going to think this story sounds absurd. And so there was this immediate blanket denial. The Haitians are not either kidnapping cats. It's fake information. It's false information. Ah! Part of that is normalcy bias. Part of it is cultural. And part of it is because they're not watching the same news stories we all are. And so I'm going to address this today, and I'm not going to ask whether Haitians are eating cats in Springfield, Ohio.
Jesus.
I'm going to ask the question.
I love
that
cats.
nobody else
Goddamn.
bothered to ask. Do Haitians eat cats? Don't. I don't just mean the ones in Springfield. I mean the ones in Haiti. I mean, do Haitians eat cats?
Lots of countries will
so
eat cats, cats and dogs to survive.
Migrant might eat your cat.
Because it's so rough out there.
It seems far-fetched to someone who has a normalcy bias and is used to our culture, but cats have been used for food all around the globe openly, every place else pretty much, but Western Europe and the United States. That in the rest of the world, cats are seen as food. I'll give you an example of a fact that might freak you out. You know, guinea pigs are seen as pets. There's a reason that they're called guinea pigs, okay? That the guinea pig is the official food of Peru. That if you walk down the street in a Peruvian city and get some meat on a stick, it's guaranteed to be guinea pig. Now that freaks us all out because guinea pigs are a 8th grader's pet, right? They're a little kid's pet. You keep in a cage. They're so cute. They make the squeaky noises. We would never think of eating a guinea pig. Plus, we kind of see them as a rodent. But they're raised for food in Peru. So there are cultural differences concerning food. If you don't believe so, just look at some of these old travel shows, travel channels, where they go to foreign countries and make weird food that we would never eat. So do Haitians eat cats? Well, if you ask that question today on Google, you will get this blanket denial in all these articles about Haitians are not eating cats in Springfield. It's all made up. It's Donald Trump's fake news. What does he say? He's racist. But if you put in your search criteria to only recognize videos that were posted prior to, say, July of this year, then you will get lots of videos, some of them from food travel foodies who have gone to Haiti and sat down for a meal of stewed cat and thought it tasted pretty good. See, Haitians, in fact, have a long history of eating cats. They actually have a religious holiday celebrated in Haiti where cat is the primary meal. It's kind of a fertility and prosperity ceremony that happens, and the meal is the central focus of it, and the meal is most definitely cat. And this is a documented fact. You can't cover up the truth. Haitians absolutely eat cats. Not to mention that in Haiti, the main religion in Haiti is voodoo. Voodoo requires blood sacrifice. Voodoo practitioners will sacrifice cats and dogs and chickens and ducks, domestic animals, whatever they can get their hands on for a blood sacrifice. So do Haitians kill cats as part of voodoo ritual? Absolutely. Nobody in their right mind is going to tell you any difference. Haitians, if they're being honest, will tell you that. Now, the Haitians being interviewed down here in Springfield are saying, no, we don't do that, no. Said the cat eater with cat on his breath? I'm sorry. Haitians do, in fact, eat cats. In fact, in Haiti, cat is seen as a preferable meat and a delicacy. That a lot of Haitians would prefer to eat cat over chicken or duck or goose or even beef. And part of this is that Haiti is an island nation. And yes, there is a poverty element to the practice of eating cats, but there's also an island element. There's been many stories down through history where cats have been introduced to small islands, and they're so prolific that they take over. And it's either eat cats or get eaten by cats on an island when cats go to take it over. See, cats are one of the most prolific producers of kittens, of offspring. They're right up there with rabbits. In fact, my sister, the one that passed away, This is what happens when highly intelligent people spend too much time thinking. But she had a theory that cat meat was actually the ultimate resource, because cats don't need to be fed, they hunt. And they have so many offspring that if you had a large ranch and you ran free-ranging cats on it, harvesting them a couple of times a year, that you would actually produce more meat than a working cattle ranch with almost no overhead. And she believed that cat was the ultimate survival food if you could get past the idea of it.
Wow. Jeez.
So
I have like 6 cats I feed.
Cats, I think the proof is undeniable.
My poor babies. Now, I might have to eat my babies.
Cats in Springfield.
To stay alive.
We'll get to that in a moment. But, I have to say that there's a lot of cultural bias here. This is really third world versus first world issues. Those of you who think it's absurd that Haitian immigrants might eat cats and dogs are really a victim of your own environment. You're a victim of your own culture, okay? I'll give you a cultural example from right here in the United States. I'm a deer hunter. I haven't done it in a long time because it's not as easy as people think. There's a lot to it. It's a lot of work. It's a younger man's gig. I can hunt if I have to, but I prefer to buy my meat down at the store because I'm getting too old for that, for all that work. But I'm a deer hunter. So when I'm driving through the Oklahoma woods and a deer crosses the road in front of me, I immediately think steak. I see that deer and I don't see Bambi. I don't see a cute little adorable deer. I just see dinner, right? I'm like, man, come crawl around on my property at deer season. I might just go ahead and take you for the, and do the work to get the meat. So deer to me don't look like pets. They don't look cute. They just look like food. I'm a little bit, when it comes to deer, like those old Warner Brother cartoons when the guys are marooned on an island and one of them starts looking to the other one and he suddenly turns into a chicken leg or a turkey leg. He's like, his buddy starts to look like a turkey leg. See, deer to me look like turkey legs, right? Now, if you took a New Yorker and brought him out here to Oklahoma and he saw a deer, he would be in awe. You'd be like, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, Bambi, right? But I don't see Bambi. I see meat because I'm a hunter. So Haitians have this history of eating cats. Part of it's in self-defense because cats will flat take over an island nation like Haiti and the Dominican Republic. But not only that, there's a cultural connection that goes way back with Haitians and cats. It's woven into their religion to eat cats and sacrifice them, dogs too. And the question is, do Haitians eat cats? Absolutely. Why would most leftists think that's absurd? Because they live in a bubble, right? They also don't understand that I eat deer meat. That when I see a rabbit, I don't go, cute little bunny. I'm like, where's my shotgun? I need to put that sucker in the pot. I got a rabbit in my freezer right now waiting to go in the pot. I better get it quick because it's from a while back. But, there's a cultural bias. And when Trump said it, everyone just exploded with fake news. It's fake news. I've been following this story for weeks. Now, is it happening in Springfield? And the answer is absolutely yes, it's happening in Springfield. And the thing is that the cops are just not doing anything about it. They're not coming out to the reports of it. They don't see it as a big deal. They're not answering the calls of the people. People are calling the police. Today I saw a person talking about how one of his neighbors had 2 of his cats stolen by the neighbor that lives between them. So it's this guy's buddy, and then a house full of Haitians in between. And he says that not only did they steal his neighbor's cats and kill them for food, but that when they skinned them, they threw their skins, the cat skins, back over the fence into the guy's neighbor's yard as up yours. Not only did I kill your cat, here, you take the hide. And but I don't think Haitians see that as a big deal. Now, the reports of cats and dogs are coming primarily just from the citizens. They're saying this is happening. I saw one woman interviewed that said she had the same cat for 9 years. It went up missing as soon as the Haitians showed up in their neighborhood, and that she's had to replace her cat 5 times. That their cats keep getting disappeared. Okay, We have some people that say they've seen them killing them and eating them and skinning them. We've had some people say they've done it to their pets and then gloated about it. And but it's essentially, this is a cultural issue. If you take third world people from struggling countries where eating a cat or a dog is how they've had to survive, that they grew up eating this kind of survival food, and then you bring them into this first world nation, they're not going to see your pet as a cute little kitty cat. They're going to see it as free food, right? It's cultural. Nothing against these people. There's a lot of people out there that thinks I'm an absolute raving maniac for eating deer meat and rabbits and squirrels. And but it's my culture, right? I come from a long line of sustenance hunters, right? I'll tell you another thing. I eat poke salad, right? I eat wild onions. You know, it's stuff that you guys don't even know exists that grows out there that you can eat. And it's because of my cultural background. Now, in Springfield, Ohio, we have a population of 50,000 people. And then they brought in, I won't say they brought them in, how 20,000 Haitians invaded a town of 50,000 in Ohio is quite an interesting story. And I kind of blame these, what are they, NGOs? These companies, these nonprofit companies that are trying to help immigrants. And so there were some manufacturing jobs that were, the owners of these factories were hard pressed to get their jobs filled. It's repetitive work. It's standing in an assembly line doing the same weld, the same 3-inch weld, time after time after time, hundreds of times a day. And there's not a lot of Americans that want to do that. And if they do, they want like $30 an hour. So these Haitians will come in, take those jobs, learn to make that weld, and stand there for hours for $10, $11, $12 an hour. And so when the word got out amongst the Haitian community that there was work in Springfield, Ohio, in some of these manufacturing plants, they started coming there because of work. Whether the word spread organically by word of mouth through the Haitian community in the United States, or whether there was some NGO employees of these nonprofits guiding them to these jobs in the small town of Springfield. But how we got here is interesting, but the fact is they are overrun. 30% of the population of Springfield now are Haitian immigrants, and it's causing a huge culture clash. Not just the fact that they're eating their pets, and not just the fact that so let's look at the duck ponds. Every little town's got a duck pond. The city buys domesticated ducks because you can't put wild ones in there. They'll fly south for the winter, right? They'll just leave. They go on about being wild. So you put domesticated ducks on these duck ponds so kids can feed them, and you can sit in the park and go, oh, aren't the ducks and the geese pretty? But they're domesticated farm animals that are purchased for your lawn ornament, right? Your lawn ornament in your park. And none of us would think about eating them. But to a Haitian, that's just free food. To an Asian, that's just free food. To be honest with you, to a Native American that's hungry, that's just free food, right? To an Okie like me, I can claim being an Okie now because I've been here a while. But, to a country boy like me, if I was hungry, yeah, those ducks aren't safe. I'd eat them too, right? I see all these video clips of people living in urban environments that are homeless, and they're begging for money, begging for food, and meanwhile they're having to shoo the pigeons off of them. If I'm a homeless guy in New York City, I'm going to live good on pigeon. The British call it squab, but it's an edible bird that is everywhere in the urban environment. So this is a clash of cultures, but there's more to this story, because the culture clash extends to other things. Haitians don't have driver's licenses for the most part. They don't do vehicle inspections. They drive cars with no plates, drive without licenses or insurance, because that's what they do in Haiti, right? In Haiti, you can drive a car if you can see over the steering wheel and you can get the thing started, right? So you've got a lot of auto accidents by Haitian immigrants who don't know how to drive. They don't know the rules of the road in the United States. They don't bother with insurance or licenses or even license plates on their cars. And a while back, a Haitian immigrant ran into a school bus full of children. He didn't have a driver's license, and the bus rolled over, and a bunch of kids went to the hospital and were grievously injured, and one child died. So what you're seeing is a real culture clash between these immigrants that are coming to Springfield, Ohio. And it's going to get worse because eventually they're going to get established. They're going to get on the city council. They're going to get on the police force. And you're going to see this town of Springfield, Ohio, becoming a Haitian city, little Haiti, little Port-au-Prince in America. Because when they come in mass like that, it's much easier for them to choose not to assimilate. Just keep doing their voodoo worship. Just keep eating cats. Just keep doing the criminal things that are criminal here but are daily life in a third world country. They're just going to keep living like they're in Port-au-Prince. And the same can be said for Venezuelans. You know, I think most of America, when it comes to this election and who they're going to vote for, when it comes to our political leanings right now, I think we all just want a couple of things. We want a grocery cart full of groceries to cost $100 like it used to, not $385 or $400 like it does now, or $500, depending on what you put in it. That we want an end to this inflation and a return to normalcy in prices. And we want the Venezuelan migrant with the machete to get off of our lawn, right? We've got these Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes. We've got them running the streets. There's going to be an open gang war soon between American gangs and these Venezuelan gangs. And you've got incidences where, out of their mind, shirtless Venezuelan men are climbing up the side of someone's house trying to get in, and they're armed with a machete, and a homeowner has to confront them with a firearm, a guy that keeps one in case of an emergency but isn't really a gun guy, just to protect his family, because this Venezuelan is trying to come in his house in broad daylight, right? And so we just really want this migrant crime to end. We want something to be done about the migrants that are here, whether it's forced assimilation, like, you know, kill a cat, you get some prison time, right? If you want to do a ritual sacrifice on your front lawn, we're probably going to have a problem with it, you know? If you're going to drive in America, have a license, right? Follow the rules, learn the rules and the laws of the road, right? Become a responsible driver. Or we're going to have to go with Donald Trump's plan and just send them all back to where they came from. Which is really sad for Haitians, because they had a legit reason for getting the heck out of Haiti. Haiti is a mess, and cat eating ain't even the problem. It's the massive gangs and the corrupt police that are at each other's throats, and they're embroiled now still in an open civil war. And Haiti is and has been a mess, right? So I can understand why Haitians would want to get the heck out of that country. But allowing them to congregate in such large groups, especially when they make up their invasion of Springfield, Ohio, is causing them to be 30% of the population right now. And that's going to put a stress on. It's bringing third world problems to a first world country. And something has to be done about it. And denying that it's going on is just ludicrous. But you got to understand, to somebody like Kamala Harris or somebody who lives in L.A. or New York or Chicago, the idea of anybody eating cat is mind-blowing. They would never do that. You know, I'm reminded of a news piece I saw, and I believe it was on 2020. It would have been in the late 1980s. And they were investigating a Chinese wet market, not unlike the wet market that was supposed to have been the source of the right, from the bats they sell there. But this place had a table, and it was mounded up with cats that were skinned. They were skinned cats laying up there. That was horrifying enough. And the guy standing there talking about it, how that they, you know, cat is a delicacy in this country, and they sell this kind of exotic meat. It's not seen like a pet thing. And, you know, these cats are raised for meat. And right behind him on this table full of skinned cats, one of them picks his head up and goes, meow! And then the whole table starts moving. I was horrified. They weren't just cats that were skinned. They've been skinned alive for freshness. You know, they don't really have good refrigeration in these countries. So, you know, this whole thing of saying this doesn't exist, it absolutely exists. You know, and there's a cover-up to try to say that this is fake news. Haitians eat cats. Are the ones in Springfield, Ohio eating cats? More than likely, right? And I would like to hear the Springfield, Ohio animal control, Because I got a feeling since the 20,000 Haitians came into their city, that the animal control guy is probably like the old Maytag man commercials. He just sits around, drinks coffee, and reads the newspaper all day, right? That he probably hadn't been a call out on a stray dog in months, because stray dogs don't make it very far in this city full of Haitians. It's not racist. I don't care what color they are. They're just third world people with third world problems who have third world solutions to their problems that seem horrifying to Americans. But that doesn't mean it ain't happening, right? In fact, one could argue if you bring that many people from another country into your country, they're going to bring their traditions with them. They're not going to change, right? To assume that you could bring 20,000 Haitians into any American city and not have a rash of cat eating is insane to believe that to begin with. If they do it in Haiti, they're going to do it in Ohio, right? So cat eating is part of their voodoo culture. Cat killing, pet killing is for ritual purposes part of their culture. Those ducks and geese they just saw them as free food. Just like your pet deer would be in danger if I was hungry. I'm probably gonna get your pet deer. Right? If you don't have a brand on it, they're gonna tag it its ear. If it ain't wearing a collar, I'm probably gonna go free game. Free food. Now, let's talk about some other issues here. You know, Kamala Harris, during that debate, was wearing a set of earrings that most of us would never have looked twice at. I didn't even notice that she had ears, much less earrings, right? I'm a dude. I ain't paying no attention to that. But some studious women noticed that she was wearing clip-on earrings, and they found that to be really weird since Kamala's ears are pierced. And, you know, that's a fashion faux pas to wear clip-on earrings unless you're over 70 or under 15, right? The clip-on earrings are not something that women of her age and prosperity typically wear. And so women noticed this, and it caused some men to go, well, why is that? Some other people, some internet-savvy folks, and they found an online pair of covert earbuds that look like earrings. They look like pearl earrings. And it appears to be a match. I don't know if there's any truth to that story, that Kamala Harris was wearing earbuds disguised as earrings that are commonly available on the internet to be fed information, answers, replies during the debate, therefore cheating. But we know also now that an ABC whistleblower has come out and said that she received the questions ahead of the debate. So she was able to prepare where Donald Trump just was hearing the questions for the first time. So that's cheating. Clearly the two commentators, the two anchors that were overseeing this were fact-checking Donald Trump and not fact-checking Kamala Harris. When she continued to tell these debunked lies, the one that says Donald Trump said there were good people on both sides, that is claiming that neo-Nazis and skinheads were good people. He never claimed that neo-Nazis and skinheads were good people. In fact, he said the opposite. I'm not talking about these KKK racist neo-Nazis. They need to be condemned. I'm talking about the rest of the people that were there, not those ones. Right? Those ones are bad. They never play that. They just double down on this lie. And even though Snopes has debunked this along with, I was watching it live. I knew it was BS from the moment that they started saying this about Trump. But yet that lie is continued, right? And nobody fact checks her on it. There's another one, the bloodbath lie. Donald Trump used the word bloodbath as a economic adjective. And the quote is very close to this, if not precisely this. If I lose this election, there's going to be a bloodbath in the auto industry. That the way they're running this country is bankrupting the American auto industry, and if I don't win, the auto industry is going down. It'll be a bloodbath. But yet Kamala Harris and Joe Biden will tell you that Donald Trump says if he loses the election, there's going to be a bloodbath in the streets. They're lies, absolute lies. And yet these commentators, these two anchors, wouldn't even question her about that. Yet they'll tell you there's no credible evidence that Haitians are eating cats in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, well, do Haitians eat cats in Haiti? Then why won't they eat cats in Springfield? Did they suddenly give up their taste for cat? This gaslighting by the left is maddening. It's driving some of us literally insane. the way they just look at you and lie to your face and gaslight you. So was Kamala wearing secret undercover clip-on earbuds so she could get help? Probably so. I don't need a lot of convincing for that, because we do know, according to an ABC whistleblower, she got the questions up front. We could all see with our own two eyes that those two commentators were biased against Donald Trump and were supporting and propping up. It was a 3-against-1 fight against Donald Trump. And the fact that he did as well as he did is pretty amazing. Now, there's another issue I want to talk about before I let you guys go on Political Soup today, cat-flavored Political Soup, is that there's a growing rash of gangs of young people. Don't know if they're migrants, don't know if they're native to the United States, or I don't know if they're U.S.-born citizens. I just know there's a rash of young men and women violently attacking old gray-haired people. There was a story recently in Seattle where a group of young people jumped on a man who was simply taking a picture of the sunset, a 72-year-old man in Seattle. He was beat down so bad by these people and left for dead that he lost a kidney. He had to have his ruptured kidney removed from being stomped while he was on the ground. In a recent story, I believe, I'm not sure what city this was in. It was further east somewhere. It might have been New York, where a group of young people attacked 3 men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s and beat them to a bloody pulp. And I mean, those were high school students, so these were young people. And I don't know what's going on in the world where young people feel like they can jump on somebody who's survived so much of this life, who has so much wisdom to share, who has made it through and proven that they're a true survivor, and you feel like you have the moral right to assault them. Even if they offended you, you still don't have the right to assault them. And I'm here to tell you, as an old gray-bearded guy, if anybody young, I don't care if you're young or old, if there's a group of people and they attack me, I don't care their gender, their race, their creed, their color, or their age, if they're able-bodied and they jump on me, I'm going to use deadly force to defend myself. You can't shoot an unarmed person. I sure can. And if there's 6 or 7 of them and they're trying to kill me with their bare hands, I better. You know, are you saying I can't stop the zombie horde from eating my brains? I have a right to self-defense. This is a growing and alarming problem that's not being talked about. Elderly people are being targeted by young people and beat down. And I really blame Marxist programming. That if you know a thing or two about the Chinese Revolution, the Communist Revolution, if you know a thing or two about what happened in Cambodia with the Khmer Rouge, that it's a common practice to demonize older people, paint them as the problem because they're the patriarchy, and to convince young people to turn on their own parents and grandparents. Teach young people to be violent against old people because old people are the problem. And I really think that's the mindset. I blame the social media programming and the leftist agenda for this. But if you got gray hair, you better sleep with one eye open. And even if you're in public in broad daylight, you could be attacked. So we need the Second Amendment more than ever. We need the right to keep and bear arms more than ever. Old people, you probably ought to start packing, because you might be pretty tough. You might still have it going on, as I do, but against 7, 8, 9, 10 people of any age or size or race or gender, is what I meant to say, gender, yeah, you're probably going to get your brains beat in. So, you know, heads up. That's one of the trends that I am currently seeing. So I hope you enjoyed today's cat-flavored political soup. Yummy. We'll see you next time, because I will continue broadcasting from my cabin down by the creek.
Ooh. Do I even want to go there, right? So it was like a 240 or so bird over there. Some brown, ugly motherfucker. I'm go see if I can get it. Is it 124 or is it 224? I can't see. Yeah, it's a 224. You gotta let them nip you a little bit. Fuck. I hate this. It doesn't let me select anything. It's so fucking delayed, I swear. Damn. I'm so wounded. I got it this time without having to get off the damn thing. Jesus. All right. Oh, it's a 224. That's not quite as high as I wanted, but it's a high level bird. It might have a good stat. You never know. All right. I know I named these fucking... I know I named this saber-tooth. I don't know why I didn't put the name on there. Jeez. I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, I guess. No, I'm just waiting for that bird. Hey, it got me pretty good. I'm sure my armor's damaged. Yeah, I got lots of damage on my armor. But I got poly and all that stuff. I could repair it. Alright, after this, I think I'm going to go in, repair my armor, and get rid of some of this weight. Yeah. Yeah, the cat thing. I love cats, and I never think of a cat as food. But if people are hungry, they're going to eat whatever they can. Chickens, goats, horses. One time I went to Mexico, and we had one of those, those tacos in the taco stands out there. And we asked him, what kind of meat is this? And he goes, it's horse meat. When people are hungry, guys, they're going to eat whatever the fuck. They'll eat each other. If that's what it takes. It's a sad story, but it's true. People will eat whatever. Whatever it takes. Alright, so I'm going to wait for him to tame up and then go home, and that's it. I'm going to end the video here. Once again, shout out to Sage Wanderer. Give him a like. But there's a bunch of other stuff too. Big Ward is live. I don't know. Big Ward would be there for like hours. I don't want to be recording for hours. When he does the live shit, it's like a long time. So I won't do that. I only do about an hour, hour and a half. That's the most I'm willing to do for video. But now here's a quick one. Random videos with JV. I thank God I never had children.
What's going on, guys? It's me, JV, coming to you live this Friday afternoon, Friday evening, Saturday morning, depending upon where you're watching my video from on the around the globe.
It's only 8
today
minutes.
It is, at least here in Mexico City. I am located in Mexico City, and today is Friday. It's September 13th. They're going to have their big Independence Day celebration on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to going to the main square, which is called the Zócalo. And I'm going to be just soaking it all in from Mexico City's Zócalo on Saturday night. Anyway, just wanted to wish you guys a good start to the weekend. We are on the doorsteps of another weekend. I just came back from eating a very delicious meal about 2 blocks away from here. So I just got back here to the apartment, and here I am by myself here on this Friday. But anyway, as you can see, the topic of discussion in the headline, man, there's a lot of lightning outside. Holy shit. I just saw a huge lightning bolt just dashed horizontally across the sky, man. Look at that. Let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can show you the lightning that's taking place. Look at the beautiful view that I have. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that is the one of the tallest skyscrapers in Mexico. I was actually corrected by a Mexican. There's the lightning. There it is. I don't know if you guys watched it. But a Mexican told me that Monterrey, the city of Monterrey in Mexico, has the tallest skyscraper in the entire country. But I think this one that you see there is the second one. Look at the lightning. Look at that. That's amazing. Anyway, that's the type of weather that we get here in Mexico City around this time of the day. Anyway, the topic of discussion for today is the immense gratitude and the immense fortune that I feel for never having any children. The fact that I have all this freedom, I have all this liberty to do whatever I want to do, and have the ability to go on a 2-week vacation here in Mexico and enjoy myself to the fullest without having to worry about any bills or any college tuition, or having to buy my kids a vehicle, a car, or having to pay for their insurance, or having to pay for the registration, or having to pay for so many other things. It's such a blessing. And I don't regret it, to tell you the truth. I don't regret the fact that I never had any children. I was never close to having any children. If you saw a couple of videos ago, I talked about how I've always been a natural introvert, and I've never really made any power play on women. So
yeah, me too.
I'm the same way. I was never really in a situation or in a position to have any children throughout the course of my life. So it never even came close. But I am very happy, and I feel very blessed that never happened, that I never had any children, thank goodness. And I know that a lot of people may differ with my perspective, with my way of thinking, especially those of you that are parents, those of you that have children, those of you that believe that it is our obligation as human beings to leave the next generation of our of ourselves behind us once we die and we move on from this physical world. That it is our duty to leave our kids and grandkids and leave our legacy behind. And I don't agree with that. You can call me selfish. You can call me a self-serving individual, but I don't think that we owe it to anybody to leave our genetics or leave children in this world behind, to continue with our bloodline, to continue with our legacy. Some people are better equipped to be parents than others. But me personally, I don't think I was ever equipped to have children. I don't have the patience to have children. I don't have the capacity really to be in the position of having kids. And the way things are going on this planet, with the natural resources ending, with 8 billion people on the planet, with more and more unrest around the world, with so much racism, with so much discrimination. You're seeing the stuff that is going on in the Middle East with children and women being slaughtered indiscriminately. Why would you want to bring children into this pathetic and rotten world that we live in? I mean, let's be honest. Things are just going to get worse. People don't respect our religious institutions. Not that I'm a religious person myself. I do believe in God, but I'm not a religious person. I'm not. I don't belong to any one of those religions that you are accustomed to knowing, But I do believe in God. And people don't respect the religious institutions anymore. It's just not what it used to be 50, 100 years ago. People had more decorum. People were more polite. People respected one another more. Nowadays, since the advent of the internet, you have seen the worst of human beings. You have seen the very, very worst that the human race can actually offer. So I'm very happy to not have any children. I love my freedom. I love the liberty. I love the ability to save money, even though I don't have that much right now, but I'm definitely in the process of doing it once I pay off my debt. I love the fact that I'm going to be traveling to Mexico, and I'm going to be coming back here in late December. I'm going to be going to Spain in early January. If I had children, I wouldn't be able to do this stuff. I wouldn't be able to travel around different parts of the world, I've traveled to 3 different continents in the last 3 years, since March of 2021. I don't think I would have been able to do that if I had children. It would have been a lot more expensive. Financially speaking, it wouldn't be feasible for me to be able to travel and to leave my children behind. So I'm very blessed. I don't regret not having any kids. Of course, people have every right to differ on my opinions regarding children, but that's the way I feel. That's the way I see it. And I'm very, very satisfied to be a person that doesn't have any children. Anyway, just wanted to give my opinion on this Friday night. Some people have criticized me for not having kids, for not ever gotten married. And my response to those critiques or that criticism is that, I'm a happy person not having any children, and that's all that matters to me. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on the next video. Have a great rest of your Friday night, and I'll see you more than likely tomorrow.
Okay. Now I'm shortening it because I want a ramp here in case I need to escape this way. I think that would be prudent. The only thing is, I don't know if it'll still trap a Rex. Let's see. If I take these off, I think it'll hold the Rex in there. I think it'll still trap a Rex. I mean, it could potentially slip out, but I don't think it would be that bad. I think these two stone ceilings aren't necessary. Because if it's real big, you're going to be shooting it from the back. You're not going to want to come up here. If it's real small, you're going to want to be just on this side. It's not going to jump over there. So that's two pieces I can save. Alright. Okay. If I can save those two pieces, then I can put the ramps back. The ones I took down. There's one ramp. Put the ramp back on this side. I'll put it on this side. Oh, it's obstructed. I can't put it here, right? Yeah, it won't let me put it there. Alright, well, I'll put it right here. Yeah, because it can easily get stuck under there. Just in case I get stuck. Alright, so small here and then the large. You can't do the large in here because they can reach right over that. You know. But you can do the small there. Alright, so now next time I do it, I'm saving about 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. The only difference is that it's going to be harder to get that bird in here. Won't have a lot of play next time. Alright. Okay. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and call the video. It's been an hour and 29 minutes. Last one was random videos with JB. I feel this way, but the thing is that the honest truth is I always wanted to have kids, have a wife, have the family. Always wanted that. Nothing that happened to me in the real world, bad experiences or anything, ever really changed my mind. And I honestly fooled myself into believing that I had plenty of time. When you're 50-something, you're 53 or whatever I am. I think I'm 53 now. It's too late. You're over the hill. And I don't have any retirement. I have no resources. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked. And you know what? That's fine. Because that's life, brother. That is life. And nothing I say or do is going to change the fact that that's life. You know, that's the cruelty of life. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I think I'm going to take a break and I'll get this shit organized tomorrow sometime. I think this is almost done. Partially done. Okay. All right. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you for watching.